welcome to the Road to Retirement Show. I'm your host, Paul Gebhardt, with my special guest today, Mr. Trip Limehouse of Limehouse Financial. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Hey, good to be here, and thank you guys for tuning into the Road to Retirement Show. Pleasure to be with you.
That's good stuff. Very different from radio, right?
It is,
Yep.
it is.
But,
Hey, you know what we're doing?
yep.
We're getting a message to people.
Yes.
We're doing it on the radio,
Mm.
and we're doing it on TV, and we're doing it in person.
Yeah.
We're getting the message to people
Mm.
that they can do this successfully.
Yes.
There is hope.
Yes.
And you know what we're finding? We're finding folks that are viewing us, and you may be one of them right now, the people that are listening to us on the radio. By the way, that's Saturday morning, 10 a.m., 103.5 FM, the Voice of Columbia, the Road to Retirement Radio Show. Don't miss it. And you can check it podcast too, iHeartRadio.com. But we're finding that we're helping people to understand that they can be okay. And there's a lot of concern out
Yeah,
there.
a lot of
A lot of
apprehension, yeah.
concern. I mean, matter of fact, we got a call recently, Paul, from a lady that said, you know, I don't have a lot of money, but I'd like to talk with you. I've been listening to your radio show for a while. And she said, the things that you talk about make sense. And, you know, I'd like to know what I can do with my 401k and how to make it last. And she said, I've heard you talk about never running out of income. I've heard you talk about mapping out Social Security. And she said, you know, I need help with all of that. I'm about to be there. And folks, some of you may be about to be there. I'd encourage you to call 844-359-2569 because this is what we do, and you're in the right place.
Yeah, and speaking of people calling, we had a lot of people calling from the last show, and I know how much you love to help people with live questions. Can we jump into some questions today, Trip?
Yes.
Let's do that. I've got a question here. Let's see. Is there a good way to pass on my tax-deferred money to someone other than my spouse?
You know, we see that. I mean, typically we attract people that have about $750,000 or more. They come to our office. You know, we have a lot of high net worth clients. So what we're seeing that those folks have in common, when they have a lot of dollars that they never paid taxes on in an IRA or in a 401k, you know, $1.5 million, $3 million, whatever the dollar amounts may be. A lot of times, Paul, those people don't need to take money out of the account. So what happens is, as they are on their road to retirement, maybe they have enough money in Social Security and a pension to meet their monthly obligations. But as they're on that road to retirement, those dollars grow. Now, here's a problem. An IRA is an IOU to the IRS. Folks, I want you to understand that. Your IRA is an IOU to the IRS. So here's the deal. When you pass these dollars that have never been taxed to the next generation, not to a spouse, but to the next generation, you could lose essentially 30% or more of the account value. So you got $1 million you want to pass on to the children or grandchildren. Guess what? They're not getting it all. They're going to get maybe 2/3 of it or something like that. So the question of how to do that effectively would be, well, we do something like an estate planning strategy, potentially using life insurance, because we can use dollars for duties. We can implement a strategy that's intentional for estate planning. So let's go back to that $1 million example. $1 million goes to a non-spousal beneficiary from an IRA. It loses 30% of its value. So let's just identify that value, $300,000. Well, then maybe we just look at a life insurance policy on the person for $300,000. And guess what happens? When they die, who gets what? Their beneficiary gets 100% of what they wanted them to get. So I often say that some of this stuff is voluntary. You don't have to succumb to the high taxation that's there, but we need to learn how to leverage what we have, how to have those dollars have a duty that can really benefit us and the next people, the people behind us, that legacy planning. So the answer to the question is, there is an effective way to do it. Folks, we can show you how.
Yeah.
We'd love to.
That's good stuff. And you know what? It's the tax strategies that people do want to know about, because here's the thing. You know, the government says, you know what you ought to do, folks? You need to go out there and get a 401k. You need to get an IRA. You need to set all this stuff up because we don't know about Social Security, how long it's going to be around for you. We want you to start planning for that. So folks go out and do it, Trip. They go out and do it. You know what aggravates people? Then they keep changing the rules on when they tax them and how much to tax them, right?
It's making me think about required minimum distributions.
Yeah.
So required minimum distributions, folks, if you don't know this, that's the amount that you have to take out of that retirement account, whether you want to or not. And by the way, if you miss it, it's a 50% penalty on what you should have taken. You don't want to miss it. We map those out for you so you know how much you're going to have to take out of your retirement account, when you're going to have to take it out. Used to be age 70 and a half, now it's 72. There's potential talks of it being pushed out to age 75. Quite frankly, what I think is that the government did a great job of setting everyone up to pay more taxes at a later time.
Yeah.
And this is the time, Paul, in most people's life when they think that they're going to be paying less taxes than they've ever paid before.
Right.
That's not the case. As a matter of fact, there's shock and awe when people sit across from us and we talk about Social Security being taxed. We talk about their income taxes. We talk about capital gains, all that. But you know what we do? We build a plan for you. And we take all that into consideration and we look at different scenarios, different levels of taxation, different potentials over your road to retirement journey, and we show that to you. But at the end of the day, you have a plan that's crafted that you know is going to be successful because we demonstrate that to you with our fact-based planning approach. And we say, hey, you're going to be all right on this road to retirement.
That's good stuff. We got time for another question. You ready for this one?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's see. This one's an annuity question, which I happen to love annuity questions. I have an annuity purchase some time ago. Can I exchange it for a new one?
Oh, great question. And the answer is yes. Folks, if you're out there and you do have an annuity, I want you to know that it should be reviewed and potentially you might be able to improve upon it. Now, if you cannot, we would say, hey, you can't do this or you need to wait till later to do it. But if you can, you need to know about it. For instance, a lot of people out there have very expensive variable annuities. Sometimes the cost in a variable annuity, Paul, could be upwards of 3% annually. Wow. So if they make 6% because that's what the market brings in interest, then they're losing 3 right off the bat, and they only net 3 in the contract, and their money is subject to risk. And quite frankly, it can be detrimental to folks, losing money being in a variable annuity. So the answer is we can replace them. We can exchange them. It's called a 1035 exchange. You go from one annuity into another. We do it all the time when it's in the person's best interest. Because as fiduciaries, that's what we do.
That's the key component, is making sure it's in the best interest of the client.
Right.
Right? That's what we're talking about here. It's what it's all about. Hey, listen, we're going to take a quick break here in a second, but I was wondering if you wouldn't mind sharing with the viewers today what you brought along as far as offers if they call in today.
Folks, thank you for spending time with us. What we're offering to you right now is a complimentary session with us, okay? We want to meet with you. We want to learn about you as a person. We want to know what your goals are. And then we want to put all that together and build a plan that's going to be cautious, conservative, and keep you comfortable on the road to retirement. Come see us. You've got nothing to lose. There's no cost or obligation. I think we are what you're looking for.
And again, that's a complimentary review that I've seen folks charge upwards of $1,500 a session. And Tripp and his team has decided to invest a certain amount of slots into you. Set this time aside. The question will be, will you invest in you? You have to invest that phone call. You got to take that first step because you're the one in control of your retirement. 844-359-2569. We got to take a quick break, but we'll be right back after these messages.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just the downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Road to Retirement Show. I'm your host, Paul Gabhart, with my special guest today, Mr. Tripp Limehouse of Limehouse Financial. And we're talking all things futures, your future in the financial realm, and specifically retirement related. And I wanted to get into that part of it, Tripp, with you, because, you know, folks of bygone generations, they were used to the government taking care of them. They're used to the employers taking care of them. But aren't we seeing more and more today that people are pressed in to taking care of themselves when it comes to retirement, right?
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Mm.
And because they are doing that and recognizing that they need to do that, I think what we're referring to now is retirement used to be different for people years ago. There were pension plans,
Yes.
right? A person would know how much income they were going to have when they retired from Social Security and their pension.
Yep.
Well, now the shift has been to you have a retirement plan that you can contribute to, and maybe there's a match that occurs. However, it's up to you to fund it, right? So people are recognizing that, and they're doing that more on their own. But what's not happening is after it's funded on the backside, or as you're getting closer to the income and the distribution phase, they are not knowing what to do from that point forward. So because they're kind of backed in and they're like, oh, what do I got to do? Now, I tell you, it's real simple, 844-359-2569. Or you can visit limehousefinancial.com, schedule an appointment with us, call us. You know, we want to hear from you, folks. We care about you, and we can help you put all this stuff together. Don't be a loner or do-it-yourselfer, because, you know, I've seen that people forget things, big things, maybe like accounting for inflation, accounting for taxation, you know, accounting that, you know, this is when they have to take money out of their retirement account. You just don't want to miss anything, and we're here to help you make sure you don't miss these things. I mean, what are we doing? We're talking about all things retirement, as you just mentioned. You know, all the things that we know with 20 years of experience that we need to be putting in front of folks, to helping to continue to educate them so they make the best decisions for them. And speaking of driving, we often tell people this: hey guys, when you're meeting with us, guess what? You're driving the car. You're in control. You determine how slow we go, how fast we go, if we turn right or left, if we stop or start. You determine when we implement the plan. You know, you hire us because we make the recommendations for you. We build the plan for you. But ultimately, it's you that says this is what we want to do. You know, so don't be apprehensive about meeting with us. I just want to encourage all the folks out there. You know, there's a lot behind working together to accomplish goals. And I mean, what more do you need to say? I mean, that's what we're doing with people.
Absolutely. I like to think of it as the great adventure that lies ahead, right? Your great adventure. All this time, you've worked, you've saved, you've invested to get to a point in your life. But this is a time where you have to think about you being in the business of your retirement. You're the CEO. Who is your team? Who are you going to build around you, right? And that's what Tripp and his team. You mentioned it. You said something very powerful there that I hope folks grab it. It's the simple things that are said. He said, he works for you. He works for you. That's a powerful statement. You got to be active in that role. I got to ask you another question here, buddy, regarding that, because you got me on a roll right now. I want to know, how does a person know when they can retire? How do they know when?
You know, they call in from the radio show, they call in from TV, and that is what they say. I'm just kind of thinking about this. I'd like to know that I can do it. When can I do it? Matter of fact, recently we had someone come in, Paul, and she's 55. She said, I'd like to retire now if you can show me how to. Guess what? We did the analysis,
Really?
we determined the facts, and we showed her, you can do this now.
Yeah.
So the answer to the question is, how does a person know they can retire?
Yeah.
Well, we take a look at where they are, what they have, where they want to go. We understand them as a person. We put all this stuff together, and we build a plan that's customized for them, and we demonstrate. And sometimes we have to tell people, no, you need to work another year or two, or 5 years, or yes, you can do it. But when it's all said and done, when we go through our very simple process of working with you, you're going to know the answer to that question. But it really boils down to two words: a written plan. A written plan. Folks, not just an account. Don't just have a piece of paper and a statement with dollars on it and make that assumption that that's the plan.
Mm.
We need to do more than that, okay?
Absolutely.
And that's what's going to get you through successfully.
Okay, but I got to ask you, how excited was the 55-year-old lady when you told her she couldn't retire?
Extremely excited.
I bet.
Extremely excited. And you know what she said is,
Yeah.
she said, Tripp, I love how you and Jonathan have demonstrated that this is how you arrived at this conclusion, because we're very interactive with people. We're incorporating our software, and we're showing them all this scenarios. And she really got it. When we presented it to her, she left our office knowing how and why. I mean, there was no doubt in her mind. She was ecstatic. And then she said, I think I might want to work another year. Because she loves her job.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's good. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have the option, isn't it?
It is.
So, it's an interesting thing you talk about. But I want to ask you this. I've heard you say before, it's not what you earn, it's what you keep.
Oh my gosh. Let's just say it again. It's not what you earn, it's what you keep. I mean, oftentimes we share with people, if you're seeking the highest rate of return, that's a potential with us. But if that's your number one goal, I don't know, maybe we might not be the best fit, okay? Because we want to put this thing together for you in a way that we know is going to last, okay, folks? So instead of using something like bonds or fixed income securities, let's take a look at the Green Line principle so we can preserve and protect your dollars that you've worked so hard for, okay? Because truly, at this point in time, for most people watching, whether you have $900,000, $6 million, or $100,000, you need to preserve and protect it so that that works for you from this point forward. We're going to show you how to do that when we build the plan for you. GreenLinePrinciple.com, visit it on the web, learn more about it, safe money strategy. Everyone needs to be educated about that. In particular, right now in a time when bond markets are faltering and we're not too sure what may happen. And by the way, bonds have inherent risk. For those of you that don't know that, bonds still have risk.
Yeah.
Well, we can shift from the risk to the Green Line principle, that safe money strategy, and we can do probably better than the bonds can do or the fixed income securities can do. So again, but it's all about a well-rounded plan, a balanced plan that works for the person that we're talking with. And we want to talk with you folks. Give us a call, 844-359-2569. This is what we do. We're very good at it. We draw from 20 years of experience of working with people just like you.
And it's a complimentary review, if we didn't mention that. Complimentary. This is something that I've seen people charge upwards of $1,500 for a consultation. That's an incredible investment in you. There's only so many slots that Tripp and his family can provide. The question is, will you invest in you? You're the one that has to take control and make the change. And you make the change by calling. That's what you do. We hear Tripp say it over and over again. Personal pension plan. There's only 28 minutes on the show. The personal part's you. You got to reach out and get your personal pension plan. Joan, Ted, Ken, Alfred, doesn't matter. That's your plan. 844-359-2569. We want to thank you. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after these messages.
When was the last time you saw your financial professional? Are you getting the most out of the strategy that was created for you? Although you've done a great job finding someone to help plan for your future, are you 100% sure that you were given the right strategy? We can help answer these questions and more with a complimentary second opinion evaluation. We will take a look at what you have in place and then help determine if you're well positioned to get the most out of your future retirement income. In the event that it is not, we can help by making suggestions and showing you how to get on the right path. You wouldn't get just one opinion when it comes to a major health decision, so why would you treat your most important financial decision with such disregard? Call today for your no-cost, no-obligation second opinion evaluation to see if you're getting the most out of your retirement income plan.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Road to Retirement show with Limehouse Financial. I'm your host, Paul Gephardt, and my special guest today is Mr. Tripp Limehouse of Limehouse Financial. Man, buddy, I tell you what, I just enjoy learning from you all these wonderful aspects it's got my mind spinning with the possibilities. So, I wanted to get into, if you don't mind, another viewer question we had from a previous show. Do you have time for that?
Yes, let's do it.
Let's do that. This one's about Social Security. So, it's pretty straightforward. What is all this talk about maximizing Social Security?
Wow, that's a great viewer question. We focus on Social Security because that's typically one of the core foundations of a plan for a person. Okay,
Mm.
so on the shows we often mention that we do fact-based planning.
Mhm.
So how do we determine that this is the best time for a person to begin taking Social Security? Well, again, we go with the facts. So, folks, what we do is we use your information, your Social Security estimated benefit information, and put it into a plan. I mean, we continue to talk about building plans for you. We make a specific recommendation just for you based upon your overall financial picture, everything incorporated, of when would be the best time to take Social Security. Should you take it earlier and then, wait for your retirement account to grow and then take distributions from that later? Or should you do it the opposite way?
Mm.
Should you take it later and then use your retirement accounts in the interim? I mean, all these scenarios we go through with people, Paul,
Mm.
and this is what we share with them. Here's your recommendation on when you should take Social Security. There's thousands of ways to file for Social Security.
Yeah.
Some people just think it's as simple as, hey, I'm 62 and I can take it. But we want to make sure people don't make an incorrect decision on when to do it. And there is a way to maximize it, but we have to map it out. So I fall back on having a Social Security roadmap, and that's something that we provide for everyone that we talk to.
Okay. Okay. So let's say I'm curious. I'm a listener out there who's curious what you're talking about. Let's be honest. I'm a little bit nervous, right? Because there's a lot of information, and I've heard so many different ideas. What can I expect when I come meet with your team at Limehouse? What's it like there? And do I have to bring anything special with me?
Sure, sure. Well, I can tell you one thing, folks, when you come see us, leave your checkbook at home. Okay? How about that for being comfortable when you come in? So, what you can expect is to come into a very relaxed environment, but a very serious one, because we do not take this lightly. Okay? I want to just share that with you. And there's a sense of urgency, folks, to do proper planning and to do it now. I hope that we're imploring that message to you today. Okay? So, comfortable. That's what people say. I mean, over and over again, Paul, people say, this has been great. I'm so thankful that we were able to spend this time with you. And I've just been very comfortable, because there's sometimes it's an apprehension to disclose personal information.
Yes.
Okay, to talk about things that have been done or haven't been done.
Yeah, it's a bit nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it can be, and it can be intimidating. But we take all those factors out, and people are people.
Hmm.
We were created, right? And we need each other. Well, folks, you need Limehouse Financial to be guiding you with all this stuff for your road to retirement journey. That's why we do what we do on the radio, talk about this. That's why we're doing this on TV. You need us, and we need you. We benefit from working with each other. We certainly do. But I would just say a very comfortable process. And as far as what people do need to bring, what we'd ask you to bring is just anything that has to do, any documents related to having done what you may have already done in the planning process. So some people, their 401k statements or their IRA statements, or some people will bring us their estate planning documents just to review, or maybe even a tax return. So everybody's different, but I can share this with you. When folks schedule appointments with us, we reach out to them, get to know them, and then we let them know, here's what you need to bring. And we just have a very simple process. We spend about an hour with folks on our first appointment. That's where we identify if we can help them or not. And that's normally when people decide, what do they want to do? Take this to the next step. Very exciting, comfortable. We love it.
I love it. Hey, you know what? I think there's something I know definitely is not on their bucket list. You know what that is?
What?
Having to go through a pile of financial statements. So, I'm sure that's on nobody's bucket list out there. So if that's not on your bucket list, guess what? You got somebody who's willing to do that with you.
Yeah, and the simple thing is we just take that and then how do we come up with how are we performing fact-based planning? Folks, just bring us information. We'll do the due diligence for you, give you that non-biased opinion that's in your best interest. That's what we do as fiduciaries. We will build you a plan that's built to last. We don't want you running out of gas on this road to retirement. We want you to know you can do this journey comfortably. We've been doing it 20 years. We love, and we've helped thousands of people retire successfully. You could be the next one. You just need to pick up the phone, call us 844-359-2569.
Okay. Speaking of calling us, we have one more question. Do we have time for it?
Yep, let's
Okay.
do it. Quick one.
I'm 59 and a half and have heard of in-service distributions. What is that?
So an in-service distribution would be something like someone has reached age 59 and a half, and this is when the IRS would allow, Paul, a person to take advantage of those dollars that are theirs and potentially roll them over into their own IRA that we could help them set up. And there's also, if you're 59 and a half and you need to make a withdrawal from a retirement account, you can do that without a 10% penalty. So those in-service distributions, in-service withdrawals for 59 and a half and over people are very beneficial. And in particular, because there is this sense of urgency, folks. Again, there is this sense of urgency to understand thoroughly how you can take control of what's yours, preserve and protect it, and create a lifetime income and distribution plan that's built to last using all types of strategies. And quite frankly, everyone needs to be doing that.
Absolutely. Everybody needs a plan. Everyone needs a plan. And it's interesting, believe it or not, my friend, we were coming down to another end of a wonderful show. We got about 90 seconds left. But if you'd be so kind, would you remind the good folks of South Carolina what you're offering today if they reach out and call you?
Folks, reach out. I urge you right now, pick up the phone, 844-359-2569. What you can expect, I mean, what you see is what you get. That's what I want you to know, okay? We care about you. We are excellent at what we do, income and distribution planning. We're going to do an analysis for you, make sure you're on the right road to retirement. We're going to make sure you never run out of money. We're going to make sure you make the best Social Security filing strategy decisions. We're going to teach you about things that probably you haven't heard about before that you need to know about it, okay? No cost, no obligation. Spend some time with us. You owe it to yourself. You'll walk away very happy that you did.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to close your eyes for me. I want you to imagine the adventure of a lifetime. That should be your retirement. That place you want to go. Those people you want to be with on that retirement trail. What's it like? Now open your eyes. Pick up the phone. Share it with Tripp and his team. 844-359-2569. We want to thank you so much for being with us. Be well, everybody, and enjoy your retirement.